Hey, it's Wednesday, right? Hump day, right? So I hope everyone is having a great week thus far. There's a lot going on, especially here locally where we live here in Stark in Bradford County. There's a lot going on with the school board and the kids going back to school. As you all know, Zane will not be doing brick and mortar school. He'll be going to, we actually signed him up for Florida Virtual School. Really, I would like the option to keep him in district. I don't know how familiar you guys are with things. There's a lot that I really am not familiar with, wasn't too familiar with anyway, myself in the process. But the kids, the school gets so much money per kid, right? Well, here locally, we've had over 300 kids sign up for virtual school, which means the school is taking like a $2.4 million hit because they get like, if the numbers were accurate that I saw, it's like $7,000 per kid. And then for a child like Zane, who has exceptionalities, they get more money for them, a substantially a substantial amount more actually. So, um, but I would love an option, district option. One of the district options here is a curriculum called Edgenuity. Ingenuity, out of ingenuity. That's what it is, y'all. Give me a minute. Not ingenuity, ingenuity, something like that, y'all. Anyway, it is not a program, a curriculum that Zane could do well with because Zane just needs one. Zane needs a schedule, right? That's not so attendance stricken simply because he has to go to therapy during the week. So we need to have us where we can alternate the schedule. But the thing is, like Florida Virtual offers, but the thing is I would love to leave him in district where he would have a local teacher and he could have friends so that, Zane can't go to school 30 hours a week. Julian cannot even work 30 hours a week right now because he's enacted his FMLA and because of my immune system. So there's no way if Zane can go to school for 30 hours a week, then everything can go back to normal around here. And that has not been the case, nor is it the case. So, um, but I would love that option, where I could take him in maybe to the school to meet with a teacher one day a week for a couple of hours. And maybe we could go online once or twice a week for him to interact with the teacher. And I wouldn't even care if there were more than one student, kind of like a Zoom. I know everyone's talking about HIPAA and privacy, but these are kids. Zane is in kindergarten. That's your problem. Why your children got all so much privacy? See, sometimes, listen, sometimes when tough decisions have to be made, decisions are made that don't accommodate everyone. You cannot make everyone happy, but also at the same time, there can be a compromise and a happy medium. That means that some of the stuff you want, you're not going to get, and you've got to let it go, and that also some of your, sorry y'all, my phone went off. Also, you must make sure that you're not just being selfish, right? Like, you have to make sure that your complaints are legitimate, right? Not selfish complaints. Like, you worried about the privacy of a kindergarten class. That doesn't make any sense to me. But you want to be able to go, people complain that they can't just walk on and off campuses and have access to their kids. But now because it's too strict, there's too much going on campus. But now you want to holler about privacy for a classroom. I mean, I don't understand. But, and that's my thing. People find what they want to find to complain about. And we have to stop being selfish complainers. And we have to stop being useless complainers. Complaining without an idea of a solution is just ludicrous. Do you understand? Talk about a lot of stuff, but I have a lot of ideas. Doesn't mean my ideas are perfect, but I'm not going to sit up here and just talk about what I don't like or what I don't agree with and simply not have a way to fix it. That's just useless. I'm sorry, but that's the only word that comes to mind. But yeah, so it's a lot going on. We have to remember that we are adults. We have to remember that these are our children or someone else's children. And we have to remember that our choices have to be what is best for them because they are children. Yep, that's true, Shay. But the thing with me about brick and mortar schools is that one, we had an issue with the hours and stuff with Zane last year because of his schedule with his therapies that he gets outside of school. So it was just an issue. Then there was a big flu outbreak here and strep throat. Like they closed, like the schools were there were like four people in Zane's class because everyone else was out sick with the flu or strep throat. Zane was home for the entire month of December into when they went back second semester because of my immune system. So the virtual thing works better for us, but I would love for it to be a district thing. But listen, they're just not making good choices. They don't want to make mask mandatory, and I understand that, but at least do temperature checks in the morning at the schools and at lunch. Because listen, people are going to medicate their kids and send them to school. It's just what's going to happen. It was happening before coronavirus. It is going to continue to happen. No, not everyone does it, but a lot of people do. Some do. I don't care if it's one. If one person treats their child, and see, here we come with integrity. There's a lot of that missing in America. However, they medicate their kids and send their kids. I don't care if you've got a job. Listen, you do not medicate your child and send them to school and put the rest of our children at risk. But see, it's because of these type of scenarios that sending these kids back in these classrooms is not the best idea right away. But then these districts are going to lose all of this money. The districts need to come up with a plan. You need to come up with a way that our teachers are safe, our students are safe, our administrators are safe. And it is possible. You just don't want to hear what everyone has to say. You want to do it your way. But your way has proven not to work. Your way has proven that things, illegal things have gone on in Bradford County. The way the school board here handles things has proven that there is no accountability for anyone on the board or anyone that sits in one of those chairs and has a seat right in the front. There is no accountability at all for those people that sit in those individual chairs. And honestly, I think we should fire all of them and start over because this is ridiculous. And this is requires a community decision. I don't understand, but hey, I'll let FLVS get Zane little check because the district is failing me. The county has failed my child and my family. They have failed the entire county. Not just the school board, those that were voted into office, but also all of those in the chairs in front of the panel. You know, the ones that are in the individual chairs they talk to, fire all of them. There cannot be, listen, if you have 20 plus people in a meeting at a table and you cannot come up with a strategy that will work, them the wrong people in the group. I'm sorry, but that is facts. Every person up there that sits in one of those individual seats in front of everyone else has a responsibility as a leader. And none of them are doing their job, and they're all getting a check. Fire they asses. That's how I feel about it. It is ridiculous. But I can't change much. All I can do is say what I want to say. I can vote. I can talk. I can call. I can always stand my ground, where I am always Zane's number one advocate. That is all Julie and I can do, right? But that's what we're going to do. And I encourage every parent out there, every grandparent, every aunt, every uncle, everyone who has a child in public school, listen, now is the time. You have to be their advocate, not their parent, not their advocate, because no one is going to look out for them like you do. If your kids or your family doesn't have an overlying or underlying medical condition and you want to send your kids to brick and mortar, more power to you. That's on you. That is your right. And I support your choice. That's not an option for me, but I support your choice and I understand your choice. However, that's not an option for us. And I hate that I don't have a comparable district choice. This is where we live. This is where Zane plays t-ball. This is the kids that but he doesn't get any social interaction with them with FLVS, because these kids, I don't even know exactly who else going to FLVS. I know that Bradford County, a wonderful lady here has, and I know her, Miss Amy, has set up a FLVS Bradford County District page. So for all of the parents, if you go from my Real Life Talk with April page to my personal Facebook page, Giuliani and April Acosta, if you go there, you can find the page. I tag some people, but I don't know who all is doing FLVS. If you message me and tell me you're doing FLVS, I can send you the link on Facebook. I do not mind doing that. Listen, this lady, Miss Amy, is kind. She is smart. She is a teacher, so she is on that side of it, and she has a child, so an elementary age child. So she is very knowledgeable, and she has understanding because she's a parent and a teacher. Listen, that's pretty good way to understand all of this, right? So I think it's going to be a great group. We'll be able to connect there. We'll be able to plan social events for our children and different things like that. And that is great. I'm so grateful that she put this together. But honestly, all of us should have a district option that will work for us and for our teachers. And there is not a district virtual option that is worth any of our energy. And it's just sad, it really is. And it's disheartening to see it. I mean, look, I'm do what I got to do where Zane's concerned, but I remember when I was a single mom and Summer and Jonathan and Bryson were little. I remember in elementary school, I mean, they were latchkey kids. I was active duty. And then when I came off active duty, I worked full time. And then I had a second job for years. And my kids would come home and they would have to get off the bus and they would go home. And I lived in Virginia, in Portsmouth at the time, and Norfolk too. But they would get off the bus and they would go home and they would stay in the house till I got there. They did their homework. They had chores, whatever homework they didn't understand, I helped with. I would swing by still in scrubs and they would run and jump in the car to go. So I understand you having to work and your kids having to go to school. And it is what it is. That's what has to happen. But they're not even offering temperature checks. They're not even requiring temperature checks. If they were offering, well, like I said, the 30-hour a week schedule for Zane does not work. So, but if at least if they were offering temperature checks, look, I think mask requirements in school are just going to make things more difficult for teachers because they're going to be in school. Don't share, don't do this, don't do this. The mask will be the new letter jacket. The mask will be the new class ring. The mask will be the new snack at lunch because it's somebody they got because you brought your lunch from home and all your friends think it's cool, and it is. And so they're in there sharing little stuff, right? Because everybody likes Spider-Man. And then I seen this idea about uniform mask. What? Everybody don't even got access to mask, and now you want to make it a uniform. Just be glad if they got one on. But those kids, it's not fair. Now I can see you expecting the teachers to wear a mask if you want to, but even then, that's I don't know. But temperature checks, come on, guys, that's easy, and it's not that, and it's cost effective. It is cost effective to do temperatures on all the staff and the students every day. It's cheaper than shutting the school down, excuse me, because there's an outbreak. I mean, for me, with the lack of the amount of data, I don't know that temperatures and masks, I mean, to me, they have the same amount of relevance. Just that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. This is Real Life Talk with April and my perception, my perspective. The reason why I say that they are equal is because the mask, there's no guaranteed evidence that it works, right? And if you know anything about masks, each one of those masks do something different and allow a different size particle in and out. No mask is created equal. They're all different for different reasons. 2, temperature checks. Listen, I had pneumonia, was admitted in the hospital for pneumonia. That was on 2 IV antibiotics before. 4, it got worse and they had to change one of the IV antibiotics to another antibiotic. I never ran a temperature, not even a low grade fever. I never had a low pulse ox. My O2 saturated at 96 at the lowest, even when walking. And I had pneumonia. And it got worse before it got better. I was in the hospital for 10 whole days. And those 2 things were normal within clinical standards the whole time. So, hey, I have my reasons for my thoughts and how I process things, right? So, you know, it's going to be great though. I hope all of the kids do well. I think one thing that would help if we get rid of the standardized testing. I think right now in the middle of this pandemic would be a great time to just stick to the curriculum, get rid of testing. Dismiss standardized testing right now, at least this year. Allow teachers to teach, develop relationships, and right now. Because there's enough going on without that too. But that's just another opinion that I have. So it really doesn't matter. But that's what I think. I have a lot of thoughts. And, I believe that understanding and knowledge bring wisdom. and produce wisdom. So you have to have understanding, which means you have to experience it, right? And you have to have knowledge, which means you have to have studied it and understand it logically. But, and then with those two together, you get wisdom. Then you're able to produce stuff, right? Because wisdom produces fruit. But, it's all going to be okay. It's all going to work out. I went to the ER yesterday. Last night, I made several calls to my primary care. I didn't get any calls back. I'm sure they're busy, but I ended up going to the ER last night, and I have acute bronchitis. Um, you should have seen the way them people looking at me when I was coughing in there. Child, I tried to tell the people it wasn't corona. I knew it wasn't corona, and the reason I knew it wasn't COVID is because Julian and Larice both were tested within 5 days, and both were negative. So I knew it wasn't COVID, but it is bronchitis, and hopefully it doesn't turn into pneumonia again. I started an antibiotic, a Z-Pack, and we go from there, right? But it's all gonna be all right. I'm tired. It's kind of crazy because yesterday was methotrexate Tuesday. You guys know that's when I take my methotrexate, which is a medication I take for my RA. I take 7 tablets every Tuesday. I take 3 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. But I have to take all 7 on Tuesday. So I took that yesterday. What the methotrexate does is essentially destroys the cells in my body so that my white cells don't get so high to cause damage to my joints. In short, that's what it does. But yesterday they put me on the Z-Pack, the antibiotics, which what it does is help your body fight. So it makes your white cells increase. So my body is like, Heffa, what is going on out there? But I didn't know I was going to the ER last night. I really, really thought that I would get better and I could just, I wouldn't need an antibiotic. I really was hoping that's what was going to happen. But what happened was yesterday evening, last night actually, because I didn't even go to the ER till like 8:30. I started when I would breathe, when I would inhale, and then when I would exhale, I would have a pinching in my chest. So, so I knew then that was very familiar to me. As I said earlier, I had pneumonia. So, that was very familiar to me from when it started before and near the end. Like once I started getting better, I had that too. So I knew I needed a chest X-ray. Only way to get a chest X-ray is a doctor order. So I went and did chest X-ray, and like I said, it was acute bronchitis. That's all, and so I am exhausted. So I'm not going to stay on here much longer. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I will be going live on Friday from a special location. So y'all join me at 9 o'clock Friday night for Real Life Talk with April. Also, please share this. If you're watching this, hit the share button. Also, please go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Thank you. Have a great night.